Hey guys, Nikki with Resin Melody here today, and I am going to do another tag video. I actually recently watched a video from sdrcow, who did a tag video from a set of questions, actually two sets of questions that Lady Irene created, and they are for both senior collectors, people who've been in the hobby for quite some time, who've kind of seen a few things come and go, and then also more junior collectors, people who are new to the hobby. So I'm going to do the more senior one since I've been in the hobby for quite some time. So let's do it. All right, so question number 1. How long have you been in the hobby? I've been in the hobby, it'll be 15 years in May, I believe. I got my first boy at Anime Central in 2006, which is an anime convention in the Chicagoland area, and I got him actually at the convention. So it was probably April or May. I think it was May, but I'm not 100% sure. I guess I can go look that up. But yeah, so this year marks my 15-year anniversary in the BJD hobby. Crazy. Question number 2. How has the hobby changed for or around you? For me, this kind of goes more in depth, I think, into a little bit more about my life than maybe it has for others. I mean, I've seen trends come and go. I've seen wank fests like you wouldn't believe, forums that have been insane. I mean, I've seen a lot of that, but for me personally, the hobby has changed in that some of my very best friends in the world were met through this hobby in the Chicagoland area when I was living there. And in 2015, I think it was, my husband and I moved away from the Chicagoland area. We moved up to Minnesota, and so that made it harder to stay in touch with the roots of my hobby, being the Chicago area, which has a very, very, very large, very, very, very active group of people that get together on a pretty regular basis. I'm sorry, they used to get together on a pretty regular basis. I'm assuming in the future they will as well. But when we moved to Minnesota, we were about an hour and a half away from the folks that met in the northern Minneapolis-St. Paul area. And so it made it a lot harder to meet people who were actually active in the hobby. And then a few years ago, we actually moved from Minnesota down to the Orlando area in Florida. So I have now met some amazing people in the Central Florida area. And so for me, a lot of what has changed has been my physical location and my ability to physically get together with people. And meetups are, for me, one of the things that I absolutely love and I absolutely enjoy. I don't know that I would have quite as much enjoyment without the other people that I know and have met. And so for me, it's very much about the people and about my location, my physical location, to being able to get together with those people. Question number 3. Do you regret anything that you have done in the hobby? Yeah, probably. So I think we all have these regrets, right? Where we regret a doll that we've sold. We regret a doll that we passed on that we didn't buy. We regret modifications that we made, and that type of thing. But my biggest regret is not making it an absolute point to attend the various ball joint and doll events that have happened around the country. And I feel like I have missed out on some fantastic opportunities to forge better relationships with people that I have met online, and also some of the people that I have met but not forged as strong of connection with in person, just because, just for various reasons. So I want to say, I've done the Volksdalpa. I did an LA Dalpa in 2007. I was able to attend. I was able to get Sprite. You can see here right there over my shoulder. She's a Seitenchi that I won at that Dalpa. Super dear to my heart. The whole experience was absolutely amazing. But, I was hoping to be able to attend New York Dalpa, and unfortunately that didn't happen the year that I was slotted in to go. There's other events all over the country, and I love getting together with people. I love being around people who have enthusiasm for the same interests that I do. So I think kind of going forward, knowing that and kind of having dealt with 2020 as a whole, I've realized that I really do value the ability to get together with like-minded individuals, and I really want to make that a priority going forward. So I think my biggest regret is not doing the in-person events when I had the opportunity to. But at the same time, I've sold dolls that I regret. I've sold dolls that I'm currently on the hunt for. I've passed up on standard dolls that I'm currently on the hunt for. So, I've gone through that, but that part aside, which I think is pretty common in this hobby, I think the getting together with people and going to events is probably my biggest regret at the moment. And number 4, if I could give only one piece of advice, what would it be? And I gotta say, I think that one piece of advice would be just don't be afraid. Have a healthy amount of skepticism and nervousness, of course, that's a given. But if you can't get a doll in the color that you want, do some research, but dye the doll, airbrush the doll. There's ways to get the doll the color you want. If you find a doll and it doesn't have open eyes or it doesn't have closed eyes and you want it to have one or the other, check out modding. If you want to do face ups, do research. Look up the right tools to use, but try face ups. Resin itself, and granted, my experience has primarily been in resin itself rather than vinyl. I have a history with vinyl that is not so favorable, so I stick with resin. But if you have a resin doll and you want to give it a face up, give that doll a face up. You do not need to go out and hunt for another doll that is cheaper, that maybe doesn't have the same curves, it doesn't have the same resin texture, it doesn't have it. You've already got your doll. Paint your doll. If that's the one you want to paint, you want to give it tattoos, give your doll tattoos. But look up how to do it. And if you find a doll that you absolutely fall in love with, don't be afraid. You might have to save up a little longer, but get the doll that you love. Don't settle for something cheaper because it's cheaper. So I think I would say just don't be afraid. So those are my answers to the 4 questions for senior collectors. I will leave both those sets of questions and the 5 questions for junior collectors that Lady Irene has curated in the description box down below, along with a link to Lady Irene's YouTube channel and sdrcow's video, where I first saw this tag and his answers to it. In the meantime, if you would like to keep up with me and my hobby and the things that I'm doing here, please subscribe, like this video, comment. I'm happy to have you here. So thanks. And if you want to connect with me anywhere else, I am Resin Melody all over the place. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, hit me up there. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.